at that time, the big song was No Time to Lose. And of course, as a young singer then, you want to emulate the female artist. Whatever song you're singing, you want to sound exactly.
Like,
so that, yeah.
So where are you from? Where did you grow up?
I am born and raised in Kingston in Hannahtown, Oxford Street.
So you're a straight Kingston girl.
Straight, unfortunately, because I would prefer to be on the countryside. I'm not a city girl.
A certain kind of enrichment in the country.
Yes, man, love it, natural nature.
So which one of the studios that took you on first?
Studio One, of course.
What kind of question that, right?
That's where I was taken on the very same day, Easter Monday, straight to Brentford Road at Studio One. And fortunately, I never had an audition. I just went straight in the studio and they say, Jackie Me Too, of course, was one of the main musicians. And I had a song that me and this guy, same song that Philip James heard me singing with this guy, with his guitar, and he asked me if I have a song, and I said yes. But the guy was nervous, so he ended up not being a part of it. So Jackie said, little girl, you know the song? And I said yes. So I ended up recording that song, all by myself, which was never released. Wall of Love.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Have you considered doing it again?
No, it would have to be restructured because it was a ballad, a love song.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see. Tell me about mom and dad. Tell me about where's mom and dad from? Your mother and your father.
My mother is from St. Mary and my father, Griffiths, from St. Elizabeth. But my father was a singer. My father is from India. And that's the one place that I've not been, that I'm praying that God might spare my life to touch that soil. It's a place that I really want to go.
Just because of mom?
No, I think I have my heritage there, and not because of mom, but it's a place that I have always wanted to go, whether or not,
So we're in St. Mary's from St. Highgate?
Yeah, Barracks River.
Oh, yes.
Near Highgate. Richmond.
I come from Rockaby side, I said.
Yeah.
So you grew up in the music business alongside which other female artists?
Well, at that time it was just Hortense Ellis, which was mainly a performing artist, not recording, but because the same morning I performed at Carib, she was also performing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so she and I became very close, and of course, I think Phyllis Dillon was a Duet.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
But it was just male dominated then.
So
just a few.
How did you come through? I know a lot of the men in those days, they really they talked about how they felt they were cheated in the music business, and I'm wondering, how did you feel as a woman in more or less a man's world?
Yes, it was male dominated, but I am telling you something right now. I am not going to ever say I was cheated, even if I was, because every one of us wanted the opportunity when we got it. I was thinking about money, and none of who is complaining about being cheated was thinking about money. They were just so happy to get the opportunity to go in a studio and to record and express themselves. And this is the reason why I always say the music then will continue to be golden oldie and will live forever, because we weren't thinking about no money, nothing negative. All the good ingredients went into this music. Sincerity, honesty, love, every emotion, commitment, every good ingredients went into these songs. And that's the reason why we can still be living from these songs. They are the legacy that we are inheriting today. So I will never complain about being cheated. I am glad that I had got that opportunity at Studio One. This is where it has landed me, and the journey has been beautiful. So even maybe at the time, who knows? The producer was being cheated too, because everyone was naive. You know, they didn't know what's going on, and we were not knowledgeable of the music business. As I said, we just enjoyed what we were doing.
It's a refreshing perspective. You don't hear it a lot, but there's a reason why you are who you are, because and you have stood the test of time. Your music is still fresh. I was telling Freddie McGregor earlier how both of your music still play in the dance hall and still play as if it were yesterday, you know what I mean?
That is one thing I can say. Even some couple of friends would call me and say they have never been to a dance, real sound system dance, and don't hear maybe 6-7 songs from me, you know? So those things keep you alive musically, keep you current, you know? Your music is all, because you could easily say the music then that I did at Studio One, they were classified as dancehall music.
That is exactly
and
right.
they still continue today as dancehall music.
So you came into the rocksteady era, right? Is that where your entry was?
I think so.
Did you do any scat hall?
Maybe, you know, I did rocksteady.
Rocksteady.
Mainly rocksteady, but I was aware of the scat era.
Right.
And but I came in '64 right at the rocksteady time, because most of the songs I did then in Studio One, you know, they're classified rocksteady.
And I know for a fact, because I enjoyed the era of young, gifted and black and stuff, and I know the impact that Bob and they had on your career during the days. Tell me about that. Tell me about Bob Andy.
I met Bob Andy when he was a member of the Paragons group.
Oh, he was? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And I never started singing at the time when I met him. A friend of mine, both of us went to the rehearsal. It was near by where we were living. And that's how I met all of them. And I said to them, you know, during the break, I said, I can sing, you know. And they said, what you can sing? And I did. Patti LaBelle had a song, Down the Aisle, and that's the song I did. So I remember after about a year or two, when I finally landed in Studio One stable, the two members of the Paragons came in and saw me there and said to Bob Andy, hey, look who is here, Patti LaBelle. And that's how we link up back, and then, you know, I discovered that Bob Andy was really a good songwriter. And Mr. Dodd, you know, asked him to write a couple of songs for me, and he ended up writing all my hit songs in Studio One.
Oh my God, yes.
Melody Life, Truly,
oh my God.
Tell Me Now, Mark My Word, Feel Like Jumping was written by himself and Jackie Me too. And I did Words with Free Eye.
Yes.
But that's how we linked up back. But thank God, when we got back, you know, into communication and he started writing songs for me, we ended up, you know, in a relationship.
Oh, you did? You didn't know that?
Yeah?
Did I know that? I don't remember if I knew that. But that's good.
He was my first boyfriend.
Oh, Bob!
Yeah.
I didn't know that at all. I know that you guys sang together a lot, but I don't remember hearing about it. But that's great, because
that was great at the time, because I'm a young little girl, young teenager, and you know, you're out there as a female, vulnerable, and all these musicians and artists have eyes on you. So
you did that strength, that rock.
And he was very jealous. So I was happy that he was there to ward off.
Oh my God.
Anything, you know.
Okay.
Because God knows, you know, I'm not really one of those young girls that run around, but my parents were always very strict. But he came in my life at a good time, the right time.
That's good to hear. Oh, that's good to hear. Oh my God. And then, what do you think of the music of today versus the music of yesterday?
Well, there's no comparison, none whatsoever, because as I said earlier, the music, as Barry Salmon would say, is not old school, it's good school. And you'd have to be blessed to be a part of the good school. So I don't usually, music is music, there's no label, but I would never compare the music yesterday to what's going on today. Because the music yesterday was sincere, pure, and creative, everything that was positive. That is the music yesterday. And as I said, even today's music is music that they go back to the old music to either reconstruct or to do something with it, you know. But they are so, most of the 90% of the hit songs today is from with rhythms way back or songs from way back. Those songs never die.
So did you hit the dance hall with your singing? I mean, because there was a time when artists used to go around and sing dance all over the place. Did you do that too?
I was not
No?
a part of that. I was not allowed to even go on the road at night. My gate used to lock at 11 o'clock every night.
Oh my God.
Yes,
Mom and Dad were strict.
very strict, because even in the beginning my father was every single where, every performance. He was at the studio and he was so very strict. You know, so I was not allowed to go and hang out at dance. One time I remember my older sister took me to a movie, Sign of the Gladiator. I'll never forget it. And that name stuck on me. They started calling me Sign of the Gladiator. I've never seen another movie in my life then, you know.
Oh, it's good.
So, yeah, they were very, very strict.
Marcia, you had a wonderful career up to the late 70s. I mean, you didn't have to go into being a part of a trio. Your career had taken off in a big way. How did you end up? Great anyway. But how did you end up being on one of the most prolific trios in Jamaica's history?
Well, quite right what you said. I was originally a solo singer.
Right.
And even then, if I'm with a Bob and Marcia or a IThrees, I never relinquished my solo career at no time. But it was not until 1974, I think, when I was doing some performances at House of Chen in New Kingston. And for some unknown reason, Mr. Dodd at Studio One invited me and Judy and Rita separately to do some harmonies at the studio. And we all three of us ended up there to do some harmonies and some recordings that he wanted us to do. And that particular weekend I was doing the shows, and I said, can you girls come and do some harmony with me on a show that I'm doing 3 nights, Friday, Saturday and Sunday? And they said, sure. So we do a quick rehearsal, and on the third night, now at the end of the performance, we decided to do a little jam session. And Sweet Inspirations was a popular group in Jamaica. And we decided that we would just jam some of those songs. I need your sleep, some of those songs. And the audience loved it and said, why you girls don't form a group? And we said, why not? And we came together and started to rehearse together group songs. And they invited us to do a gospel show down at the arena. And then, that's why I say coming together, the three of us, was never a mistake. It was ordained by the Almighty. Because at that particular time, Bob heard that we went into a group. And that time was exactly
Breaking
when
up of-
he, Peter and Bonnie had some dispute, whatever it was, I don't know. But at that time, it's like Bob think quickly and said, we form a group. So he called us in and said, Natty Dread.
Just like that.
Just like that. Natty Dread went straight to the number one. And then we went in and we did Jalib, number one again. But prior to that, Rita and myself, because we didn't meet Junior until 2 years after that, Rita and myself did Rocket Baby with Bob earlier. So from that time, when we started doing the Natty Dread, we did the entire album and we did Jalib, and I am saying, boy, ever since we started working with Bob, everything is just, on the go.
Yes.
And we became his three little birds. And you see the rest is history. So I usually say it's ordained by God.
So you work very closely with Bob. Tell us about Bob. Tell us about Bob Marley.
Well, there's so much to tell, it would take a...
I know, I just need something
But,
from you. Yeah.
The experience with Bob, when I met Bob that morning, Easter Monday, when I went to studio, and I had no idea that I would end up being, working with Bob. Because these three guys, I knew Bonnie from kindergarten days. And he was the only one I knew then. I didn't know Peter and Bob. But they were so serious. I was afraid to even look that side. And they were always watching the little young girls, Rita and myself. They'd be watching, so you have to make sure you're walking on a straight line. When you come to those guys, because you don't even want them to look at you. One look, and say, you have to straighten up. So I never had any idea that I would be working with Bob. But we started working with Bob in 74. And believe me, from that conception, I remember when Bob went to England the first time, we had already had some exposure with Young Gifted and Black, Bob and them myself, and he came back. We were in RJ's studio and he said, you guys are big in England now. And I said, yeah, because we went on Top of the Pops. The song was number 2. So we were already out there internationally with that song. So when we eventually started recording and working with this man, for some reason, I started recognizing that this was not an ordinary man. He was a different person from everybody else that I knew in the music, and I realized that his music was his life. Nothing came before his music. Nothing. This is all this man wants to do. The people was priority, and he wanted to get his message out there in the world to the people. That is what he knew his calling. And I am so happy that I, sitting here with you, recognized even from that time that this man was special and he was truly sent. And this is the reason why I usually say, I am glad I gave him flowers while he was alive. He didn't have to pass away for me to say, wow, he was this. I recognize. Because this man spoke different, and the things that he would say is so soft-spoken but powerful. And the things he would do, and I'm saying, no man, this man is so different, and I've never seen anyone so dedicated to his music like Bob was. And I started to recognize that, yes, this man is truly sent. And I was very happy to be a part of his experience working with him. And as a matter of fact, he's the one who opened my eyes to realize that the music was not just entertainment, just to go there and entertain people and dance and be in the limelight. It was much deeper. He is the one who opened my eyes to that. When I saw that this man's life and his world is just his music. No money mattered. trust the music.